Let's get right into it. Number 5. Penicillin Panic. Imagine being a doctor in the early 1900s. People are dying from paper cuts, not metaphorically, literally. You scratch yourself on a filing cabinet and your body goes, ah yes, death it is. So doctors are desperately trying to kill bacteria with whatever they've got. Chemicals, heat, hope, vibes, mostly vibes. Then Alexander Fleming shows up, leaves some dirty dishes in his lab, and accidentally invents modern medicine. Here's the chaotic part. Penicillin wasn't discovered because someone was calmly trying to heal people. It was discovered because Fleming was studying how to kill bacteria more efficiently, left mold growing on a petri dish, and noticed the bacteria around it had basically packed up and moved out. The mold was like, this lab isn't big enough for the both of us. That mold turned out to be producing a substance that dissolved bacterial cell walls, which is science speak for, the bacteria exploded like cheap water balloons. Before this, infections were the final boss of existence. Pneumonia, strep throat, childbirth, anything that involved a wound was a coin toss between recovery and a very polite funeral. Doctors were swinging blindly, trying to destroy microbes without destroying the patient. Penicillin was the first time the weapon actually knew who the enemy was. But here's the unhinged twist. Penicillin didn't just cure infections, it completely changed how humans interact with disease. Surgeries became survivable, injuries became manageable, entire medical fields sprang up because suddenly the body wasn't fighting an invisible war alone, and it all came from a failed attempt to control bacteria more aggressively. Basically, humanity stumbled into one of the greatest medical breakthroughs of all time because someone forgot to clean up after themselves, which is comforting because it means even your worst procrastination could secretly be saving lives. Your brain likes to think progress is deliberate. In reality, it's mostly accidents wearing lab coats. Number 4. Mustard gas redemption arc. Picture a battlefield. Everything is awful. People are coughing, choking, panicking. A thick yellow fog rolls in, and suddenly lungs are on fire. This is mustard gas, one of the most horrifying chemical weapons ever created. Now here's the part nobody expects. This war crime accidentally became cancer treatment. When mustard gas was first deployed, doctors noticed something strange. Survivors who were exposed didn't just have damaged lungs and skin. Their white blood cell counts were absolutely wrecked, like mysteriously obliterated. At the time, this was just another tragic side effect of chemical warfare. But later, some scientists had a deeply unsettling realization. If a chemical can selectively destroy fast-dividing white blood cells, what else divides really fast? Cancer. Cancer cells are basically your body's worst overachievers. They divide constantly, ignore rules, and refuse to clock out. So researchers took derivatives of mustard gas, stripped out the battlefield horror, and turned it into one of the first chemotherapy agents. Let that sink in. A substance designed to suffocate soldiers became a weapon against leukemia. Early chemo was brutal. There was no gentle version. Patients were poisoned just enough to kill cancer before it killed them. It was a calculated gamble every time, like playing chicken with your own biology. But it worked, not perfectly, not kindly. But it worked enough to prove a terrifying idea. Sometimes the thing that hurts the body the most can also save it, if aimed carefully. Your body, meanwhile, is just standing there like, I did not consent to this experiment. The irony is almost offensive. Humans invent chemical weapons to dominate each other, and the universe goes, cool, I'll recycle this into medicine. It's like the cosmos grabbing humanity by the shoulders and saying, you don't deserve this redemption arc, but here we are. Basically, medicine sometimes advances not because we're kind or wise, but because we're very good at hurting things and eventually figure out how to hurt the right ones. Number 3. Fever therapy. Madness. Imagine being a doctor before antibiotics, staring at a patient with an incurable infection, and thinking, what if I just gave them another disease? Not metaphorically, literally. Welcome to fever therapy, the most unhinged chapter in medical history where doctors intentionally infected people with malaria to cure something else. Here's the logic. Brace yourself. Certain diseases, especially syphilis, hated heat, like could not function when the body temperature rose too high. Syphilis could slowly rot your brain, wreck your organs, and politely wait decades before killing you. Doctors had no cure. None. Zero. Just vibes and prayers. But then someone noticed something weird. Syphilis patients who got severe fevers sometimes improved. Not healed, improved. So doctors thought, okay, what if we control the fever? Their solution? Malaria. A disease famous for causing intense, sustained fevers. They'd infect the patient, let the fever spike high enough to cook the syphilis, then treat the malaria afterward, which, somehow, was easier to treat than syphilis at the time. This wasn't fringe medicine, this was Nobel Prize-winning science. Actual hospitals were running what was essentially a biological cage match inside your bloodstream. Your immune system is already chaotic, but now it's juggling two diseases like a stressed-out barista during a lunch rush. Fever goes up, bacteria freak out, syphilis taps out, then doctors swoop in and deal with the malaria like, okay, fun's over. Was it dangerous? Extremely. Did people die? Yes. Did it work sometimes? Also yes, which is the wildest part. Eventually, antibiotics showed up and everyone collectively agreed to never speak of this again. But fever therapy proved something crucial. Your body's natural defenses, when pushed, can be devastatingly effective. Basically, doctors accidentally discovered that sometimes your immune system just needs permission to go feral. Number 2, smallpox versus the universe. Smallpox was the final boss of human disease, disfiguring, lethal, unstoppable. If you survived, you were scarred for life. If you didn't, history barely noticed because it happened constantly. So humanity tried everything to kill it, and by everything, I mean things that sound illegal now. One method involved intentionally infecting people with smallpox material scraped from sores. Yes, on purpose. The idea was to give someone a controlled, milder version of the disease so their immune system could learn the enemy's face. This practice, variolation, was incredibly risky. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it killed the patient and a few bystanders. Medicine was truly just, we'll see what happens for a while. But then came the accidental upgrade. Doctors noticed that milkmaids who caught cowpox, a much gentler virus, didn't get smallpox at all. Their immune systems treated smallpox like a rerun episode. Same vibe, different actor. So instead of infecting people with smallpox, doctors started using cowpox. This was the first real vaccine, named after vacca, Latin for cow, which means vaccines are technically cow-based software updates for your immune system. From there, everything changed. Over time, smallpox went from unstoppable to eradicated, gone, deleted. Humans wiped a disease off the planet. And it all started because people were desperately trying not to die, noticed a weird pattern, and leaned into it. Your immune system doesn't care about intentions, it cares about exposure, memory, and revenge. Smallpox didn't just get cured, it got humiliated. Number 1, radiation's oops moment. Imagine discovering a brand new form of energy that can pass through walls, light up bones, and absolutely wreck living cells. Naturally, humanity's first thought was not, let's be careful, it was, let's weaponize this immediately. Radiation entered the world as a terrifying mystery. Early researchers played with it like it was a novelty toy. People carried radioactive materials in their pockets. Doctors used it casually. There were glow-in-the-dark products, toothpaste, drinks, literal health tonics that were just radiation in a bottle. Everyone was trying to harness it. Militaries wanted it for destruction. Scientists wanted to understand it. Capitalism wanted it in soda form. Then bodies started falling apart. Radiation sickness revealed something horrifying but useful. Radiation absolutely annihilates fast-dividing cells. Skin, hair, bone marrow. Anything that multiplies quickly gets obliterated. And once again, science paused and went, okay, what else divides really fast? Cancer. Always cancer. Radiation therapy was born not from compassion, but from damage reports. Doctors realized that if radiation could be aimed precisely, it could shrink tumors, kill malignant cells, and sometimes save lives. The same invisible force capable of leveling cities could also be used like a sniper rifle inside the body. Early radiation treatments were rough. Burns, nausea, hair loss, exhaustion. The body paid a price, but cancer paid a higher one. Over time, the tech improved. Beams became more accurate. Doses became calculated. The chaos turned into a protocol. But the origin story is still wild. Humanity nearly poisoned itself out of curiosity and aggression, then turned around and said, wait, this could actually help. Your body, once again, is just the battlefield where human ambition accidentally figured something out. Radiation didn't start as medicine. It became medicine because destruction happened to overlap with healing. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.